Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is after lunch. It's March the 5th, 2025, Liberty County Commissioners Court special meeting. It's about 12:36 p.m. We have a special agenda. There's 5 items on the agenda today for us to consider. Let the record show that Commissioner Arthur's here, Commissioner Whitmire, Commissioner Clark, and Commissioner Karbowski's having some eye surgery done right now. So, y'all keep him in your prayers, please. First item on the agenda for Mr. Poston over in the county attorney's office, consider and approve payment in the amount of $140,000, excluding closing cost, to First Liberty Bank for the difference of the in-kind trade of 1801 Trinity Street, Liberty, Texas, 77575 for 311 Travis Street, Liberty, Texas, 77575. Matthew, you have anything to add to it? It's pretty cut and dried.
That's correct. I think we do need to increase to account for closing costs.
Yes, for transparency purposes, the appraisal of 311 Travis is $390,000, and the appraisal that you all ordered to be done in accordance with statute came back at 200 and I believe 50,000 for 1801. So that leaves a difference of 140,000. But I spoke with our broker today, and they estimate about 8,000 to 9,000 for closing costs. So I would ask the court approve up to 151,000, just in case there's a slight difference there.
Yeah.
So we don't have to come back to court for approval.
Okay. What say the court? Up to 151,000. Okay.
I'll second.
Got a motion from Greg, second from Gerald to approve. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Number 2, Mr. Poston, consider and approve interlocal agreement between Liberty County and Jasper County for the housing and care of Liberty County inmates. And Sheriff, it's just our standard interlocal, correct?
After they reviewed, identified problems with the contract.
Yes, sir.
That we need a facility. First of all, it's going to help us in 2 ways. One, it'll help our population. They're going to take the inmates there at Jasper. Plus, I think it will cut down on us having to transport inmates back to defense attorneys to visit with them, because now the defense attorneys can drive up to Jasper.
Sure.
So
Take that.
I hope that works out that way.
Matthew, it all look good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What say the court? Motion from Greg, second from David to approve. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 3 for Mr. Poston. Discuss and take potential action regarding jail repairs at the Liberty County Jail, including but not limited to repairs to plumbing, security cameras, locks, HVAC, lights, and kitchen. I know we need some repairs. I mean, is there a price that goes with this?
Not at this moment. I think I've been speaking with Chief Knox about this issue, and he's here tucked away in the corner. At this point, I believe that discussion needs to be had as to whether or not the court wants to go out for bids, get some quotes. I believe this is going to be a very expensive ordeal.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Why don't we order a conditional assessment? We've done this before, but we had to find a team that would do this. I don't know if you want to hire jail experts that would do this, or would it be a contractor that is suitable for doing jail construction? Warden, I'm sure you have a list of things that you need to be looked at. Okay. But the problem is when you start working toward a goal, you're going to have to define the scope of the project
Sure.
regardless. So we're going to need some pretty concrete Um, Scopes had been written, yeah. Greg?
We've had one, construction company, an architect with the sheriff, went out there and evaluated the thing and give us a proposal. I really think that's what we did, and these people have experience with design and building and repairing jails. And rather than spend the money to have somebody go in there and evaluate everything that needs to be done, go ahead and get 2 or 3 of them to come in there and give us their proposal, what they're gonna fix and what they're gonna charge. And then we'll evaluate we'll evaluate each one of them. You know, if they're, I think, Chief Knox and them, you know, escorted this other company around and showed them all the problems and the bid that they give you or the proposal that they give you, did it pretty much cover the repairs?
So they didn't come back with like an official, they gave us an estimate what they thought they would cost to get some of the stuff that we had listed. Now, I know the door locks alone, is it 133 that we need? Door locks, and they're $3,000 a piece. So you're looking at $300,000 plus just in door locks.
Mhm.
But they would have to do the same thing, is they'd have to come down and send their individual guys to do the pricing on certain stuff. Like on the door locks, I know that we have a company that it was $1,600, I think, to have them come in and do the bid on door locks. We haven't got that in yet, but
Okay.
that's what we're getting.
Okay, well, what they give you, is it enough that you could use that proposal to go out for bids on?
It's a good, yes, I mean, it's a good start. I mean, they said between 4 and 5 million is what it would take.
Okay.
We need to add on whatever damage was done in the,
Yeah, with the windows, was roughly 14,000, is that fair for them?
Yes.
And those should be, they're already ordered, I think, coming in pretty soon. Not that they aren't been done.
Chief Knox, is there any specific contractor that maybe Gel Standards or the state has recommended? Or they can't recommend anyone?
Yeah.
Are these items jail specific besides the locks? Or is it?
Well, I mean, plumbing, I mean, it's not,
Yeah.
some of that would be jail specific, some of them aren't. I mean, regular plumbing, electrical.
there's quite a few items in the
Yes.
whole thing that needs to be
Yes.
addressed.
Yeah.
Or do you think we need to have an assessment done and then go out for bids? What's your recommendation?
I would say go out for an assessment, but then you're not gonna get it 100% because you're gonna be capped at what we spend. I mean, we're gonna have a cap, I'm sure, what we can spend. Like how much, so, we can do a whole assessment, but we would have to pick what we needed fixed immediately. And these items were what we had that we needed fixed, and also get back in compliance with jail commission.
I would like to have a list of everything that needs to be fixed. I'm not interested in anybody knowing the cap that we got on it. And then when they come back with a proposal of what we can fix, and we'll look at the proposal and say, okay, we can do without this and this and this and get down to what we.
Sure.
If we tell them our cap's $5 million, that's what we're gonna get a bid on.
Yeah.
A not to exceed amount, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I just want everything that needs to be fixed and what it's gonna cost. Then we'll decide, once we get that in, we can evaluate. We'll sit down with the sheriff and y'all know what the jail commission is gonna, we can get by without this, without that. What do you think?
One thing y'all gonna have to, if y'all wanna start this in this budget season, I think I'll talk to Matthew about it. They're gonna have to declare an emergency. with this
Yeah.
summer.
Well, that's,
And we've looked at that. I think we're prepared to advise court and writing on that. But I think maybe we need specific plans.
Yeah.
Sounds like some of it's going to be purchases of goods, some of it's going to be, or a large portion of it's going to be purchase of services. So I think we would need specifics on each item, right?
Yeah, and we need some kind of timeline that the jail commission is gonna buy.
Well, that and what are you gonna do with the inmates while you're working on the dorm or you know, their housing? You know, you have to move them out or you can't stuff them all together. We've been through this before. And they have overcrowding in different areas. So I think we need to come up with a good plan, but it can be done. There's no doubt about that. But I would say try to find at least 3 companies that would come in and give you proposals on what you're requesting, but you're gonna have to write down what you're wanting to be looked at. And then they can come back and give you an estimate on the cost. And then what is their timeline? So where are you gonna look to find companies that would do that? Anybody?
Are you talking about the assessment?
Either assessment or, you know, I think you're gonna get off into it. If it's not a competitive bid, then you're gonna have discretionary spending, right? Dwayne, the way you do this?
That's more.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And that's gonna take time, you know, so I think first things first, let's see if we can find at least 3 companies that would come in and do an assessment each with the information that you need to give them, Warden, as far as what their focus would be. And then you might want to work with the inspectors with the Commission on Jail Standards on what they're wanting to see done. That way you have a defined parameter for them to follow at least. And we're not going to get, you know, we're in the perfect world, we'd all buy Volkswagens. Okay. I just don't want to buy a Cadillac in this matter because we have another issue to look at down the road one of these days of building a new jail. But the same token, we want to keep this one as a viable option because what if we have overcrowding later? Or if we're going to use this jail for possibly juveniles at some point. So,
I've got one concern with that, especially if you're trying to expedite this. I was looking at the cost of the housing, and I think, you know, those numbers they're gonna continue to go for a while. But if we allow individuals to come in there and make an assessment and then build a bid sheet off of that, then we're gonna get into the of evaluating apples and oranges. Instead of having somebody define the scope and then everybody bid to that specification, we'll know what that is. I think it'll expedite it in the long term. So, but it sounds like we already have a pretty good scope, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty overwhelming when you walk in there to see what, I mean, you know, you're gonna have a scope, and it probably just depends on how each entity, how far into it they go on the scale, I guess, but, we have a general idea.
Okay, there's no subject matter experts in facility maintenance, jail or prison that can come in there and just look what we've put together and
So
see.
usually the architects or the designers, they are the experts in it, and they'll come in, like the guys that came last time, they were the owners, but they didn't have their team with them to actually break it down, and they just saw the big overview of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but they have their own subject matter experts.
So we can get that person to come and develop the scope.
Yes.
And then I personally, I think that's the better way to bid it instead of having people come through and look at it, because you're gonna get all over the board. And somebody's gonna think they need to do this and somebody's not, and then you don't know which is the best bid at the end of the day.
Mr. Clark, just to let you know, the people that came down and just finished doing the Angelina County Jail. So they were recommended by the sheriff up there to come look at it and see. So they've done the same thing up there with Angelina County.
Okay. So would they be allowed to bid because they developed the scope? I don't know why not.
Yeah.
Well, they're clear.
Yeah. I think Dwayne deferred it to.
Well, the architect company would be developing the scope, the contractor would be bidding on it.
Correct.
Yeah, that's all. That's the next step, develop the scope then.
Yeah.
So is the motion to, I mean, are you looking to request an assessment of needs for multiple companies, or are you looking to hire one company to put it together?
I say one company to put it together.
Okay. And then that would be used to prepare requests for proposals to perform the
Yes.
work. Okay.
Chief Knox,
Indeed.
do you estimate that this assessment or these people that are going to come out and look at the jail, do you expect that to cost more than 50,000?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Okay, I think maybe to be cautious, we should probably go ahead and approve a discretionary
Well,
exemption.
that's what we-
Once we get to agenda item 4, yeah.
Okay. So in this regard, we're just going to say, discuss, take potential action that would just to seek a company to do an assessment on the jail and provide us with a scope of work to be done, potentially a timeline, just overall plan. Is
This
that,
would be an architectural or an engineering firm.
it's going to be a combination. Not the way we did it in TDCJ is we did it in-house with facilities division. We would do the entire assessment. Then we would turn it over to contractors after we had the assessment, which would include the scope. So we had control of what was going to get done, and we told them what was going to get done. And then they had bidders come in for each piece of it.
So do we already have that? I mean, it's locks and windows and AC.
We have it written down, but we don't have pricing on it.
No, I don't think we're looking for pricing.
At this point, we just need a scope of work.
If you know what needs to be fixed and how many of each.
Not necessarily how many of each, but we have just a general idea. I mean, it's not, as far as the security cameras, the exact number, no.
Right.
The door locks,
Okay.
pretty close on.
One thing I think is the plumbing, we haven't, here, I have no idea what it would cost for the plumbing.
That's gonna be a, I don't think that we can get.
So if you're looking for a lump sum bid where you don't know what the full scope may be, they're gonna put so much contingency in their bids to cover anything they may find.
Correct.
That part might be better to do on a time and material basis. I'm just saying, because that's a contractor's they're going to load contingency into it to cover themselves.
So we need a more definite scope is what you're saying. More definite scope, the less contingency.
Right, but
Mhm.
I'm not sure how to address this plumbing issue.
Yeah. Well, we need
Well-
perhaps to get some plumbers come in and take a look.
If you hire a company to do the assessment scope of work, couldn't they get a subcontractor to give them info regarding plumbing or some issue that they, don't know themselves? I would assume that would be part of the
I
deal.
would think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you talking about plumbing for the whole jail?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
They're blocked. See.
Okay. As far as this item on the agenda, discuss, take potential action regarding jail repairs to seek, somebody make a motion to seek a reputable company to perform conditional assessment and give us advice with a scope, maybe not so much an estimate on their behalf, but then potentially a timeline as well, and go from there.
I would suggest you'll, task that with a specific person too. That way we know who has the football.
In seeking,
Yeah.
A company.
You just need to see. That's right.
I hate to throw it at Harold since he's not here, but I'd be glad to throw it at Harold since he's not here.
I think it de facto goes to Harold.
It does,
Unless you name someone
sure
else.
does, yeah.
So I've got motion to seek a company to perform an assessment and prepare a scope of work regarding jail repairs at the Liberty County Jail, including but not limited to repairs to plumbing, security cameras, locks, the air conditioning, lights, and kitchen to be used to prepare requests for proposals to perform work.
We've got, We've got to declare this an emergency too, to have access to the money, is that right?
Well.
Well, would that be the next one?
Right now. See, I'll come up with, how much it's gonna cost, and then y'all can procedure. It's just a budget and then to take money out of fund balance, since it's an emergency.
So when it comes time to actually spend that money, that's what.
Well, right now, we're seeking a contractor to look this over and give us a scope and maybe a timeline. Once they come back and can give us that answer, then we can say yes or no on hiring them. And if it's over 50,000, we have to go a different route or use discretionary in that regard.
We could use discretionary.
Okay. So somebody want to make that motion, or y'all want to carry on with Lee's motion?
I'll move on what,
Okay.
Okay.
I believe you hit it pretty well, what we're looking for.
Yeah, it covers it.
I didn't want to try to repeat it.
Okay. So we got a motion from Gerald,
Second.
second from Greg, to move forward. I'll do that without going through the entire motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carries. All right, number 4, for Mr. Poston, discuss, take potential action on discretionary exemptions to competitive bidding requirements pursuant to Texas Local Government Code Sections 262.024A1 and or 262.024A2 for the purpose of repairing the Liberty County Jail. Walk through the weeds on us with this one, Matthew, if you would.
Well, I think this might be premature. This is something we should do whenever we actually have something. Both of these agenda items, we asked to be put on the agenda so that we could get the discussion started. We didn't know how far along in this process, we might be, but we wanted to be able to take action if we had something that was actionable. But since we don't, we're just asking to take no action at this time.
Do you want to table it instead?
That table's fine.
Okay. Because then it'll come up at the next one.
I'd say take no action.
You want to take
Yeah.
action?
We know we're gonna bring it back up, but it won't be probably next week. Okay, so someone make that motion to take no action.
Take no action.
David? Need a second?
Second.
Second, Greg. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 5, Mr. Kirkwood, where are you at today, Matthew?
That's what we're.
Yeah. Consider an approved notice to modify Liberty County's current subdivision regulations regarding the construction of rolled concrete and or non-reinforcement concrete streets as required by sections 232.003, 4, and 5 of the Texas Local Government Code. Okay, the way I read this, Catherine, it's consider an approved notice to modify. We're not voting on anything to do it today.
We are not.
Have a notice to modify.
Correct. The Texas Local Government Code requires notice to be published. And in the meantime, I would suggest that we reach out to LJA. And if this is something that the court would like to go forward with, some potential language be written by our engineering firm. But certainly, this is just notice. Nothing is to be decided today.
So Judge, this is the second time on the agenda, and I believe it was brought forward by Mr. Kowalski, and I really think
You ought to be here.
he ought to be here to speak on it. So I know we've tabled it once before, but I think we should table it again so that we'll have full representation, even though we have a quorum present.
If I may, it was tabled last time because we needed to take note or give notice before we could take action. So at this point, it is only the notice. We're not. It's not a vote on the substantive regulation.
This is a notice to evaluate the whole thing.
Language prepared
Okay.
to make substantive changes at this point.
Okay.
So if y'all wanted to keep open the possibility of considering this, you could approve it today. And if you don't even want to consider
Yeah.
it, then you could
I
deny.
think it's just gonna generate a whole lot of discussion from folks. And, you know, it's an important issue, and I really feel like he should be here since this was originally his item.
Well,
Or do you want to vote on Greg, what do you think?
we're just giving notice now that we're gonna look at it. And,
Based on the information, we'll make
we
changes.
we've got visit with LJA, we've got a lot of things to do
Okay,
to look at, if we want to eliminate it completely or if we want to upgrade. But just notice, start the process. I mean, we can put it off till Tuesday when Bruce will be back. It don't matter to me, whatever y'all think.
What say the court? Don't be shy.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve it.
Okay, got a motion from Greg to approve,
I'll second it.
second from Gerald. Any further discussion?
Nay. I'm not voting for it,
I didn't call for voting.
nay.
We got that nay out
You only got one,
Well, that was a discussion, y'all.
But, I mean, after we look at it, we may not do anything. We may leave it,
That's
we may
right.
make the
It
changes.
may not change at all. That's absolutely right.
But it's in your precinct. I mean, you don't
That's true.
want to
Bruce
Yeah.
likes to run from his precinct to mine.
do what now?
I said, Bruce likes going to his precinct to mine.
But it has the likelihood to go to all the precincts with all the development that's in the future. And so I think we should look at it and then make the best decision available.
Okay.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Look at it. Okay. Now, all in favor say aye.
Uh,
Likewise, nay.
Jane, is that a yes?
Think what?
Is that a yes?
Huh?
Did you say yes?
You got a quorum without me.
You want it 2-1?
Yep.
Okay.
I can do that.
Okay.
All right, so we have 2-1. So that does pass. Okay. I do it whenever there's a 3-1, or excuse me, 2-2. rather. Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of things to look at. I mean, they're Mud District is doing a lot of the repairs, from what I understand it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that needs to be taken into consideration too.
Absolutely.
Let's get it out there and talk about it. Good stuff. All right. I don't have any executive session today, Matthew. There's anything on there.
I'm sorry, sir.
There wasn't any executive session today, so.
That's correct. Nothing exactly.
All right, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to it.
Second it.
No, the counting thing. They made the motion. They made the second. All in favor say aye.
Ah.
We're adjourned.
All right.